So hi everyone, this is Startup Bright. This is the place where we talk everything related to startups. This is the place and time where we hear ideas, when we hear founders talking about their vision, their team, their problems and their goals. Today our guest is Tammuz, and he will be pitching his company in front of Startup Bright. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Yes, my name's Tammuz Dubnov. I'm with Zuzor, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you. Okay. Well, Zuzor is actually the name is based on Hebrew. So Zuz means move, and Or means light, so moving lights. That connects more to my background. I graduated from UC Berkeley at 18 with honors in theoretical mathematics and computer science. But I also got a minor in dance. So I have a performative background where I was a professional dancer and a circus acrobat, an aerialist. So not appropriate for this pitch, but if you wanted, I could do like a handstand on a chair and that kind of acrobatic maneuvers. So at college, the very first idea was building a system to track my movement and in real time activate the stage behind me. So imagine me doing a piece where I kind of travel across stage. Now the whole wall and the whole backdrop is reacting to my movement. So at the very, very first conception, it was that. And it was started as a summer project while I was still in college, where we put markers on me, and then I built a system to track my movements and generate the graphics in real time. And since then, it's evolved quite a bit, and the business grew, and I did a lot of business research and development just to discover where the world is going and really how this sort of technology fits in. So what our technology is now is an add-on unit for any display, which means it's display agnostic. So whether you have a projector, LED wall, a TV, it's all the same to us. And what we do is we mount a little media server with our software as well as a sensor. So we use the sensor to track movement in the environment and from that generate content real time. So it means I can turn a wall interactive, a floor interactive. We actually have an immersive interactive lab space in San Diego. So if you've seen footage there, you'll see that as a person walks by, everything is reacting to them. And we built a system to have a quick authoring capabilities, which really means that to date, if you want to have an interactive environment in whatever sense, it's been very, very expensive and very time consuming. You have to have a lot of pieces. So you need the engineers to put together the displays and the integrators. You need the creatives to put the content. You need the designers to design it all to the space. In nightclub, we're in talks with in Vegas, spent over $1 million just building an interactive hallway. Another hotel whose designers we know and are working with, a little while back, it cost them over $500,000 just to turn like a small 6x6 wall interactive. So what we did is we productized and shrink wrapped the whole process in a way that it's cheaper by a whole order of magnitude and thus much more approachable for the world. So when I say the world, we've done research to see what industries are interested in this kind of technology and really what the value proposition is. So the companies and the industries we've discovered that are interested in this capability to turn any displays interactive, making it a better engagement tool that generates content in real time by actually having the participants be the ones generating it. We found that performances are a great application. That was the initial conception. But more than that, we found that hotels are looking for Instagrammable moments and looking for technology like ours to activate their lobbies and attract visitors from an Airbnb to their actually hotel. We found that casinos are looking for engagement tools just like this to increase the amount of time people spend at their casino and draw a bigger footprint. We found that retail locations are also looking for ways to basically enhance the customer experience. So if you're going to a fitness location, or try and activate the space to get you out of your house and coming to their space to shop. And that applies to other industries from like trade shows and more that we have a whole list and you'll see in our pitch deck. But a lot of industries are looking for ways to really engage with people, and it's right in line with the new experiential trend. So if you've been hearing a lot of the word experience and experiential, you don't really know what that means. All that means is that brick and mortar businesses of every kind basically are looking for a way to get you to come there and experience their brand and their product in a way that draws an actionable step from you. Exactly. So experiential marketing is pretty new. and it's already $56 billion dollar market. And that's all the brands shifting from an advertising spend on mobile to actually an experiential like activation spend, where they see that there's significantly higher return on getting people to experience their brand and experience their product. So we follow right in line with that whole trend, and we actually support and make that possible.
Okay.
And a little more about our business model. As we're going through this development, and we've done betas where we service the music festivals and nightclubs and museums and hotels and lots of different things just to see. Yeah. The idea was first to go after a niche and kind of capture it and grow. Since then we've pivoted, and I'll get to that in just a sec. But we found that the selling process is a little more complicated than maybe we would have hoped. So when we come in, we didn't install at a hotel. Now that hotel has an exclusive agreement to an audiovisual provider. So when we came in, and obviously our technology has an audiovisual nature to it, we had to step around a lot of toes. So basically that made us pivot, and we basically learned that the best way to scale and accelerate the whole selling process is actually through a reseller model. So there we actually license our technology out to dealers who are audiovisual providers, audiovisual integrators, audiovisual rental companies, and we give them our interactive capabilities that works with whatever they're selling. So if they're selling an LED wall, you no longer have to spend $500,000 on an LED wall. Now you can spend half a million or $50,000, and now that LED wall is interactive, and it comes with built-in content through our system. And our system actually includes a monthly subscription where you get new content, because we've discovered that it needs a lot of refreshing to keep that engagement fresh and get your client to not just come back once every 6 months, but come back monthly to see what's new, what's fresh, and what you're doing, and how your brand is really stimulating them. So it led us to this whole reseller model where now we have those providers that we sign on as resellers, and we market to influencers who are the architects, the designers, the museum exhibition designers, the retail. We market to all of them to teach them about this new capability and this new offering, and increase demand on their end while supplementing our resellers to go service it. So from a scalability standpoint, it also gives us a lot of leverage, because no matter where we are, we will have resellers everywhere. And we already have some resellers, and more coming, that allow us to get that larger footprint, gives us access to their existing clientele, and then also lets us service end users, future end users in those locations without us having to expand our footprint.
Okay. So is this more of a B2B model?
It's entirely B2B on our side.
Okay, and so you have initial setup that you charge for, and then you have also a monthly subscription model. Okay, that sounds like a good opportunity if anybody wants to invest and make money, because you kind of merge two different business models. How did you come up again with this idea to do the visual part of it?
So initially it was like, not to undersell visuals, but really a lot of like generative visuals are just math, like algorithms. So it was all about trying to combine those three pieces. And I finished with an honors because I had to take some like numerical simulation classes. And actually I started working in a lab and then dropped out of a master's. For material science engineering, where I was doing numerical simulations. And again, everything is kind of the same world once you figure out how it works. So it was extending that mathematical knowledge to the generative visual world. And from there, just a lot of learning and a lot of creative IP, and just creating and doing this for so long with my personal performances for clients. And also because I'm the brand that kind of built it initially, and now we have a whole team. So I was also the creator, but then also the end user. It really allowed us to develop it in such a way that kind of services both sides really well, and brings in that, I said rapid authoring earlier. So that means that if you wanted an immersive interactive environment like this before, you had to get a developer in place. It was very involved and very time consuming. So by designing it the way we did, we're actually bringing down the content development stage to actual graphic designers. So that's cheaper, faster, easier, everything about it is much more scalable.
I want to better understand your company. I want to look from different angles, if you don't mind. So my first question would be, my understanding is that it's not just you, you have a team with you, right?
Yes. My team shadows me. I've got amazing people, and it actually took a long time to find all those talented individuals. We actually, as of this recording, 2 weeks ago, we got our chief operating officer. But yes, that individual is called Jeff Greenberg. He's very experienced, yeah. Okay. So he brings a lot of expertise, and his previous companies were also very in our exact world. So his last one was a software company for video walls, which means he already has the network, the knowledge to really help us scale. And he was actually the one who drafted our whole reseller program.
You have, do you have developers in your team? Do you have marketing person in your team as well?
Yeah, so I'll go through the whole list. So yeah, we have 5 developers, a mixture of domestic and remote workers. We have 3 marketing people on our high-level team. We also have Jordan, who was the ex-VP of PR and sales for Cirque du Soleil for 7 years.
Wow.
He was also hard to get.
Okay.
Yes. We have JD, and you'll see all their bios on our actual page.
Yeah. So yeah, my question was more of to hear that you have a team. It's not just you trying to build all this thing.
We have a team. We have expertise coming in from a new member joining from China, bringing in the Asian knowledge. We have someone from Latin America bringing in that market knowledge. We've got multiple business. Yeah, you'll see the team on our profile, but it's.
So I was going to ask if you have a product, but I already visited your website and I see your demo videos, and I believe you already have at least some version of your product that is already working. So my next question would be, how do you market because you can build the most pretty software, the best solution of anything, and if you cannot sell it, it's just simply gonna die. You said that you're doing B2B more now. You kind of pivoted in your approach, how you're gonna serve customers and how you're gonna find customers. So what is your marketing strategy? How are you gonna bring this product to market?
Sure. So that's a very important question, of course. We can build all we want, but we have to have end users using what we're creating. It really falls into 2 categories. So one is what I call influencers, and that can be architects, designers, creatives. I just got back from Washington, D.C., where I spoke at a conference to museum design, like there were exhibitor designers from museums, visitor center designers. So they all kind of fall under our influencers category. So that means at the end of the day, someone, let's say, is building a new museum. They're gonna bring in someone to design that exhibit, and that person needs to tell them, hey, there's now this interactive experiential capability. The price point is in line. You should ask for this because this will draw in more people. It'll make it that much better of an experience. Yeah. So that falls under our influencers. Then there's the resellers. So that is the audiovisual professionals of all kinds, whether it be rental, permanent, design firms. And there we actually have some partners that are really helping us. So other than being able to go to them direct, right now we have a partnership with Epson. So actually at the conference I was at in DC, they sent us one of their brand new projectors that's not on market even yet. So we're able to do a live demo for those influencers. But it's really going direct to those resellers and using our big partners who have that dealer channel in place and kind of leveraging it on their pre-built infrastructure to reach all of those dealers.
Are you only focusing on like big customers? You're gonna enable this technology only for big customers, or eventually I can hire you for my birthday party or for my kid's birthday party or for a wedding, or this kind of are you going to enable your technology to the regular people, to customers, not just like big venues and big
Yeah, so that's a part of the beauty. You'll never be able to turn to us. I will never come and set up for your wedding, but you can turn to our resellers. So if you have a wedding, you're already going to turn to someone to be your audiovisual provider. And if you're going to ask them for a big LED wall to show wedding pictures and whatever, now they'll be able to come to you and say, hey, you're paying for this big digital wall. If you want, here's a little add-on. Now it'll be interactive.
Oh, we missed the roll wedding.
We did miss that. A little too late. Yeah. But hopefully there will be more big weddings to come. But all of those, the end goal is I won't even have to market to you. When you have a wedding, you're going to turn to an audiovisual provider. They'll be able to tell you, hey, we can do this too now. Right. And the price point is so competitive that even like for a wedding, you'll be able to afford it. Potentially depends how big your birthday, maybe even for a birthday. But that's really where it comes down to it. Like we're able, through our reseller channel, we're able to scale so much further in a way that no matter who turns to who for any audiovisual needs, our technology solution will be able to come up.
Okay. So as entrepreneurs, we know that you have ups and downs and moments where you're not very proud of, or moments that you are actually very proud of. Can you share with us one of these moments where you kind of aha moment or something that you're really proud that you were able to achieve?
So you want a high, not a low?
Yeah, of course. High is more interesting than low.
Okay.
Unless you have something really embarrassing to share with us.
I guess my embarrassing moment is, so I mentioned my performative background. So one thing we thought could be a good fit was like America's Got Talent, because that was actually one form of inspiration. So you would see this, there was one amazing dance company that had like sequence visuals in the back, and it was so well rehearsed that when they danced, it was so in sync with the video that it looked to be responsive. Me being lazy, I would never be able to do that because that requires so much preparation and so much rehearsals that I can dedicate myself to that. But of course, our solution enables you to do that without the effort and in real time. So I thought, okay, great, America's Got Talent, great solution, I'll go to them. And now it's a little tricky, like turning the system on and being the one on stage, because that just can't be in two places at once. So the way the system worked then is, for choreography, you could sequence different visual experiences to the music. So of course, as you dance, so there's also gesture triggering, but there it was just musical sequencing. I brought my family with me, so I asked my dad to like press play right when it starts.
Simple, right?
It's simple. And of course, I wrote the code in such a way that if you press play once, it plays. If you press it again, it pauses. And the music had a little like fade in. So he pressed it once, didn't hear it because there's a fade in. Pressed it again, it didn't work. So it was stuck on one graphic the whole time, which is like, okay. Yeah. It was still responsive, but not nearly as much wow as what we worked for. And I know they brought in like a special producer to see our thing because he loved interactive. So there were two of them, like, and that guy that loved interactive, like his face lit up. The other guy, not so impressed, or maybe impressed, I don't know.
Yeah.
Of course, me being me, and with everything else going on, I think I made the choreography like 2 days before. And the graphics like a day before, which is part of like the beauty that we can do that. Yeah. But with the double tap and the graphic not changing with music or whatever the reason was, we didn't get called back.
I see.
So maybe that was a down. That was a little bit of down.
Yeah.
That could have been nice.
But it's also it's a learning experience, right?
Yep. Change the code the same night.
Yeah. The simplest thing, play, sometimes can be, make it or break it button, right?
Yeah, it's play. It's the fact that you can scale it to the display size. All the small things that you just don't know until you use it out in the world and see kind of where it breaks. So even stuff from like, you can scale our visuals dynamically on the spot. And that's just because we worked with like a few events where they just didn't have like, they had a set size, it went through another media server, and it like kind of changed our proportions. So that then we added that capability, and it's been amazing how those small stuff, that's what people look for. Like that's like some of the second question we get is, okay, well, if I have like a 4x3, or if I'm doing a video wall that's like 9x8, does that work with your system? And now we can easily say yes, like 20 seconds of like set those two things and you're good. Yeah. So all that kind of stuff is just part of the process.
So, if I am an investor, what kind of deal can you offer me? Like, what are you looking for, and what kind of deal do you offer to investors now?
So right now we're raising a convertible note. Depends on when you come to us. We'll be at different stages.
Yes, yeah.
We're at the point where things are starting to move kind of fast, which is great. But yeah, right now we're raising 1 million on a 5 million cap convertible note with a 20% discount.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty standard. It's more than reasonable. We've gotten feedback from investors that we could ask for a higher cap.
Okay.
But we'd rather raise quickly and get back to like the business and not the financing, because that is kind of a distraction.
Yeah, it is distraction. Raising money is always distraction. And what is your exit strategy?
That's interesting. So we are working right now to build a company that will be so big it'll be public, and like that's how we internally have to build it. In terms of like motivation, and we're not going to like build something half-assed so we can like exit and move on. We're really building something to scale and be high quality. But effectively, the exit depends on how big we get. So let's say we capture like the event space. There's like $1 billion player there that would probably buy us out. It would be a nice exit. It wouldn't be as big as what we're going for, especially not with the team we've put together. But let's say we're only able to capture events, then that entity would probably buy us out, and that would be a pretty nice exit. But if we're able to really capture the permanent installations and get on that recurring revenue and subscription, there's some really big like telecommunication companies, the ones that kind of do everything, that we think would be.
So you're looking at potential acquisition, acquiring your company, and then another option would be going IPO?
So we're building it as if we're going to go to an IPO, but we're open to an acquisition happening. Internally, just the kind of company culture that we're building, because we find that's the best environment in terms of everybody's motivations.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for being part of Startup Bright, and we're definitely going to have another interview with you, maybe in 3 months or 6 months, just to see how you're developing and follow up your company. And I'm really hoping that you get your funding and you build your dream. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.